hello, everybody. Hello. Hey, yo. Alrighty, just checking on a bunch of things here, but we're good to get started. So, wait, hold on. It's like, wait, pause. I was doing some stuff in studio mode on OBS here. So for the visual podcast, trying to get some chat integrated here. All right, we should be good to go. So we'll go ahead and get started. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Justin, and you're watching and are listening to episode 419 of DangIT Prodcast. Welcome back, everybody. You didn't miss out on too much this past week. Well, actually, maybe you probably did. There was a lot. I actually put some stuff down, right? That's not like me. I finally followed through with what I was gonna say. Maybe that was off camera, but I pretty much from Monday, I think maybe even Sunday, but mainly Monday through now, I've written down things that happened by the day, just so I didn't forget anything. And it's actually really cool when you actually do stuff like that, because when you look back, especially depending on how busy you are, you kind of forget about a lot of things that have happened. But it's been a pretty eventful week, even though I only had 3 days of work. How's everyone doing, by the way? We had 4th of July, right? Which is kind of interesting considering the current events that are going on right now. But that did still happen. I got to watch the fireworks, and funny enough, I don't know if I did this last week. I totally forgot I could do this. But the story I was about to tell you kind of stems from the fact that a lot of people, especially from Phil's side, right? For always talking to Phil, right? AKA MotionMan64 here on Twitch. I was hanging out with him last Saturday, immediately after the podcast that we had. And he was talking about how if on 4th of July, if anyone's going out, someone needs to watch over the dogs, right? Because those dogs, most dogs actually freak out when it comes to 4th of July fireworks. Understandably so. Not just dogs, though, but also cats and other pets that just cannot even comprehend why the sky's exploding. Understandable, right? So I thought about that, and I realized, wait, one of the craziest thing is just hearing them, right? Most dogs and cats will just be inside during this time, but you could see them responding to it indoors. So it is also an audio thing. So I was like, wait a minute. Wouldn't the solution be to put earmuffs or even noise canceling headphones, maybe play something in the background as this is all going on? So I was thinking, how effective is this? So I put on my Sony headphones. I went outside and played just a bunch of stuff. One of them was the 4th of July one from oh my god, I'm blanking on their name right now. What? Fall Out Boy. Okay, that was the song that was in, what was it? How old's that song? 2015, 2017, something. I could probably be wrong about that. I think I was in college around that time. It was one of those. It was the exact same play. It was from the album that was with Centuries as well. So it was one of those things where if you listen to the entire thing, that pops up at some point. And you're like, oh, this is kind of weird. This is a specifically 4th of July themed one. Not as much, but it doesn't change the fact that you hear those lyrics, and it's honestly kind of cool to listen to it when you're just seeing all the fireworks go off. There's actually some 4th of July playlists too. They're out there on Spotify. That was interesting. That was definitely diving into the past there. But yeah, no, who would have thought having some good music accompanied to it? And granted, there's always the anthems and everything that are playing during community events for that. So fireworks are great. They're usually they're great every year. It's fun to just see all the lights and all the combinations go off like that. But having said that, though, 4th of July for me was kind of spent at home all day. I woke up, and I think I woke up and my folks were just gone. They went out somewhere. I think I know where they went, but they went out and pretty much were gone throughout the entirety of the day until around dinner time, in which they brought in dinner. So we had that, but for the most part, I spent that day just, dude, I could be gaming. Dude, I was playing. I finished Greek. you guys don't know about that one, Greek is like a very artistic, like hand drawn, like 2D animation platform, very light Metroidvania game where you play as one character initially, but you ultimately stack up to like three characters in this very short 6 hour like campaign about how you and your people have to flee the lands because it's so far corrupted. And so you don't really find like solutions here and there. You're just trying to like survive, and you're trying to find your siblings. That's essentially what the gameplay is like. It's super interesting, especially when you get to like three players, because it's single player only, so there's no cooperative thing. Although I think that would have been really cool too, but understandably because of how the story progresses and the number of characters playable at a time, you could only really do it single player. Having said that, though, you can actually control all three of them. It just gets a little bit of a, it becomes a bit of a juggle once you hit three, but thankfully it's not too unforgiving like that. So I actually recommend it. It's available digitally, but I got like the physical edition. It's like an Xbox Series X version only, which is weird because it could just be Xbox One as well. But it's pretty good. It's definitely something where, if you're down to try out like a very very short platforming game, I kind of recommend that one. Um, I actually played a couple of other games as well. Oh yeah, that's right. I played a bunch of Pokemon actually on 4th of July. Christopher saying, "Dang, yes, hello, how's it going?" Um, so yeah, I played a bunch of Pokemon. I think I was playing a lot of Sword. I think I played a bit of Moon. Just a lot of other games I just kind of wanted to make some progress on. I did like 2 hunts of like Sunbreak during that time, and then for the rest of the night I just played Fall Guys and like maybe one session of like Naraka, which is that blade close combat like focused what do we call those, battle royales. It was interesting. Oh, but I'm doing good, Christopher. How are you doing? I I was just kind of recapping the entire week so far. I can't believe I played Fall Guys specifically for a good number of hours up until like over the night. It was like probably like 2 oh god, it might have been 2 a.m. like when I finished, because there was a little event that was ending on the end of 4th of July that required you to like play a good number of matches to collect these little lost item stuff to unlock like this helmet skin that you get. That's just like, it's just a pink Master Chief helmet with like ears, right? Oh, and there's Mark jumping on. So, okay. Let me go ahead. Okay, he was calling like a couple minutes ago. Sorry, Mark. Here, let me just go ahead and join in the call. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let me just turn on the camera here. Open up the full screen. Make sure we're not in grid form like that, or not like that, presentation form, and then hop over to party of two. It should show up somewhere or not. That's very strange. It's not. Huh. All right, we're going to currently working with some technical difficulties right now.
But what else is new?
What else is new? What else is not new? Tardiness. Not on you. Well, actually, kind of you, but also me too.
I mean, hey, I was talking to I was hanging out with some friends I hadn't hung out with in a while.
No, that's fair. I'm not gonna
Like literally my closest childhood friends.
closest childhood friends. No, I get it. I get it. Honestly, I was gonna segment that to Thor: Love and Thunder, but I'm kind of just a little distracted right now. But I was
Oh yeah,
talking about some stuff that was happening this past week. I just like covered 4th of July. Let me. Oh my god. Oh, that's what you're going for. That I think that was added to the playlist. I do remember that. Oh my god, where is this thing? Is it this one? No, it's not. But how you been, Mark?
Good.
Good. What have you been up to this past week?
Mostly if I'm not hanging out with some friends or if I'm not with my fiance, I'm probably just doing my usual. I'm probably just chilling, doing something
Any games you've been playing lately?
like Monster Hunter a lot.
Lots of Monster Hunter. Mon Hunt.
Mon-
Mon Hunt.
Been doing a whole lot of that.
Okay, okay.
What about and yourself?
I've been doing well. Hold on, I'll have to pull up the notes here. Still kind of figuring things out on my end here. So yes, 4th of July happened. We had obviously some Switch rumors came about and they were immediately debunked. Just for for context on that, it was something to do with the Switch Lite and OLED trailers both being privated for like a bit of time, and people were obviously speculating. I was also speculating as well. People were saying like, "Oh, this is immediately it's Switch Pro. Here we go. Here we go." And part of me's like, part of me's like,
gonna be a thing eventually.
I don't know. At this point, like, it won't be not until like the far flung future.
But Justin just sitting there, with his copium.
I'm over here with my fingers crossed, saying like, well, it's not gonna be the Switch, JK, unless. But yeah, that's kind of like that's what I was kind of hoping for on my end, was that like it could have been something, but now that they've like actually reviewed it the following day, which was the Splatoon 3 special edition Switch. No, we're gonna see the OLED edition for a while, or version for a long time. Not a bad thing, especially if you never got a Switch in the first place. But at least until
they're done working on that new console they've said they're working on.
They're working on a new console?
So they've said before they're nervous about the next console after the Switch. That alone tells me that there's something. They at least have a concept for something.
That just tells me that they're thinking about that. Like, obviously, you know, in the back of their heads, they have something planned. It's kind of the same thing as like whenever like we have group meetings with Anaya and he talks about like stuff in the future. It's not something that we really think about, but it's always something to consider, because like
that's what I say. They got a concept or something. They at least have a concept of something they want to do.
Right. Or at least rather, well, I mean, it's just ideas that are out there that don't mean anything until it actually happens.
Yeah.
Nope, that's not it. Oh, cool. Ooh, all right. I think I figured it out here visually, anyway. All right, cool. All right. Now that I'm back on track here, but yeah, I was actually hypothesizing, because someone actually mentioned it on like Twitter, that like that could have been like an announcement of an OLED Switch Lite, and I was like, you know what, that kind of makes sense on Nintendo's scale. Of course they would, like, you know, no, that made sense if that were the case, but you know, they didn't actually announce something like that. That could happen in the future though. In fact, I'd say it's a little bit more realistic for them to release like an OLED version of like the Switch Lite than they were to like come up with like a Switch Pro.
Probably.
Christopher saying like he's sending the "you're done, you're done, you're done, you're done, you're done" emotes. I'm like, what's going on? I know you did redeem the new follower. I did notice that. Which you're not, but
you do you.
You do you. It's funny how often that redeem is never used like for an actual intention. Well, with actual context, in sense that like someone is new. It's all part of the strats, but people are misusing the strats. But you guys do you. You don't hurt the channel at all when you use that. It's actually in fact, it actually helped out a lot. Follow age, interesting. That's it. Actually, I think I've heard of that command before. I just never really used it. I'd have to like incorporate like a Nightbot for that one. It didn't work. Yes, yeah, it doesn't really quite work. I'd have to see if they incorporate that kind of stuff with that. Yeah, I'm currently using a bot that has like a certain number of commands. A lot of them are listed in the about page, like over on Twitch. So they're all listed there. And I don't believe follow it is one of those, which is just, you know, how long you've been following for. Yeah, no. I want to say though, kind of going back to 4th of July, and I kind of want to blame Fall Guys, but it mainly falls on me. But it really did start like this ongoing battle for me to get good enough sleep for the past week. It was getting pretty bad.
Have you won a game of Fall Guys yet?
Oh, I won multiple.
By
Many.
yourself?
Many. A lot of them were the Spartan runs though.
They were what?
A lot of them were the Spartan theme ones. You know,
okay.
for as long as they were available, like up until
not like regular Fall Guys.
yeah, not like regular Fall Guys. Although I'm trying to remember, did I? I don't know. I didn't. I got to the finals, but that was it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, the Spartan ones are actually like really easy. I mainly just focus on those because that was the prerequisite to getting like the helmet skin and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, no. I'm I'm currently still like battling, like trying to fix that schedule because I never realized how bad it can really be when you have like a habit that you're trying to kill off, and it it's one of those things where like last night, it's gonna be really weird, but I was on TikTok obviously, and that's kind of just like the cesspool of all like short form content, right? And funny enough, as short form content as it is, you spend more time there than it is justifying it as being short. So I ended up watching someone doing a little quick marathon of Korra. They were doing the final season, the final book, and I was like, you know, I haven't seen that in a while. Let me just see like what's going on. And I kid you not, I think I kind of like saw almost all of like book 4 at that time. I was like, Jesus, dude, like why is my brain like this? Why can't I just go to bed?
Why can't I just go to bed?
It's one of those things where I know that all I have to do is just simply just put my foot down, or I'm actually laying in bed at this point, so I need to put my phone down and say like enough's enough. But still working with that. Other than that, though, you know, yesterday actually, I made some plans with David. David, if for those who are new, is someone that we used to do a lot of Let's Plays with. He was like part of the main like cast. He is still technically part of the main cast, but he's been doing his own thing. But we've been able to reconnect and just kind of like replay some old games that we've done in the past. Yesterday we were going through Sonic Adventure 2 again. We played a little bit of Smash Brothers Brawl, and then we were planning out how we wanted to go about doing recordings and everything like that. In the past, I had like such a remote like setup of like going to people's houses to record. But what we have planned up ahead is to actually do the Cuphead DLC. And how we're gonna do is we're gonna just record it here, just here in my like bedroom here. I probably will need to adjust mic setups and everything, but otherwise I think we should be okay.
The old stomping ground, your room.
Ye old stomping grounds, my room. Hot degrees.
It's fucking warm.
It gets really warm when there's like more than one body. In fact, it gets warm when it's just one body.
It's all the extra body heat.
Maybe we could share our body heats by just existing in a small room. That and a lot of electricity. A lot of power.
Power.
But yeah, no, we're making some plans here, so I'm really excited to jump back into Cuphead, but also not so excited to jump back into Cuphead, if you know what I mean.
Pain.
Yes, I'm waiting for pain. But the plan with Dave is that we're hoping to do a bit of more like retro content. The only weird thing is just that if we're gonna record more of that kind of stuff, I think it's beneficial if we just did it in the confines of this room. One, because of the already existing audio setup, but also because we have like all the equipment like kind of just grounded to this area. Now I can't really take them out. Oh, that does remind me though. Because I didn't know what to expect, I was just kind of messing around with some old like tech that I had lying around. So in anticipation of doing some remote recording, I was just checking out my laptop from way back. It's the same laptop that I had trouble with recording the last bit of The Last of Us Part 1. Because of some weird like frame rate issues. I just tested it out. Should be fine now, but I have it like right here, and it was just kind of crazy to kind of look back at the laptop and seeing all the files it had on. I also was messing around with other means of capturing like visual stuff like here. So I have like the GoPro Hero 7 right here, and funny enough, I spent the Saturday also looking for like another GoPro that was reportedly like on clearance as a bundle. I didn't find it TLDR, but I thought it would be really cool if I could like get all these different like GoPro stuff and then get the crazy Camlink Pro, which is like 4 HDMI in inputs, and then just have like crazy camera angles. But I did figure out how to set this up as like a webcam with no latency whatsoever. I figured that out because I would have used this otherwise, but when I plugged this in initially, it wasn't giving me like good latency. Everything was delayed by like 2 seconds. But thankfully, you have YouTube, and I was able to figure it out. So this one's ready to go whenever, and the quality on this one's still pretty good too. So maybe at some point in the future, I'll consider getting like the Camlink Pro and at least having like 2 different cameras working at the same time. But yeah, looking forward to any other like projects going forward with David especially. But that's kind of like the TLDR version of like the entire week. Also, yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder is definitely one of the big things that happened. Actually, just a few hours ago for me. Mark, did you watch it? You said you did.
Yesterday.
Yeah, okay. You know, just to tell everybody. But yes. So, how do you want to like deal with this? I just wrote down this is gonna be our first impressions, but if you want to like deep dive, we can deep dive into like this movie as best as I can possibly like recall on everything.
No context spoiler.
Oh yes. It's hard for me to give you like a no context spoiler because there is a lot of things that can be like placed out of context. But I will say, especially since I mentioned this like yesterday that like I had no conception of like how the movie was except for like the first person who like placed down a review that I saw, which was Moist Critical's like Moist Meter, and so I kind of based things off that unfairly. Where he was talking about how there was like way too many jokes. Like it felt like it was ending like portion of that movie was just nothing but jokes. And to be fair, he was kind of right. But I think he's
not wrong.
He's not wrong in the sense that there were a lot of jokes, but from what I had seen, it wasn't encompassing the entirety of the movie. More like Korg was kind of more over the joke character and didn't have much seriousness to his character. That's all he was like in this one. And everyone else, though they had jokes, it wasn't like it didn't make their character.
Korg is just Korg.
Mm-hmm. And that's Meek.
Korg. That's me. As you can see, Meek's writing on the whiteboard. He's making that sharpie sound. Makes it hard for everyone to concentrate.
It was the movie was a lot of fun. I do recommend it if you watched and just love like Thor as a character. Thor is like one of my favorite. Like he's one of my favorite Avengers and / superheroes. So like it just kind of it worked perfectly for me. I loved like the colors that they decided to go for in this movie. It was super colorful, and there's times where it's not, and that's a great thing. And I love the story of how they reintroduce Jane Foster into the story, and actually how they ended everything. How they ended everything. I think the way that they approached the ending was pretty fair, all things considered. Like there could have been, because like in the back of my head as the scenes were playing, I was thinking like, okay, this is an opportunity where this could happen. But wait, they wouldn't do that because that's kind of disrespectful. Like in just like on the whole sense of like what Jane's going through and how that affects a lot of people outside the theater. So I can understand if they don't want to go that route. So they would probably go this route. And sure enough, they did go like that route. So I'm happy like the way they ended it, and it's cool to see Thor like back in action when like there's a whole multitude of like other like characters that are just brand new. There aren't the OG like Avengers cast, and he's still kicking. I just really liked it for it. It was definitely a movie that had like themes of like love and loss, and I think it just kind of carried it like pretty well, I would say,
Oh,
without
my
being.
my fiance was crying at the end.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't like I was prepared for that one. I wasn't prepared for Miss Marvel's episode. That hit like some
No,
of the diff-
even being prepared, it's still a pretty emotional scene in Thor: Love and Thunder.
But yeah, I was totally prepared. Like the moment you saw uh what was the dynamic with like Thor and Jane as well as the main bad guy. Although the main bad guy's like intentions weren't really like too covered until like later on. But like in the beginning when you see like Jane and Thor, you kind of know what's gonna happen later on. And I
I
was
didn't
I
assume
was
that
I
was.
was
I
being
didn't assume that's what was gonna happen.
I was totally prepared as to what was gonna happen like between these two. And then at the end I was like, oh, this other guy, oh, okay, all right.
That is not at all what I assumed what was gonna happen.
Yeah. No, I like with Jane and Thor, I saw it like from like immediately a mile away. I was like, this is setting up
It's
to be
the same guy
something.
who's like pirates and who's like pirates in Smash, where it's like, what the fuck? What do you mean?
You connect the dots, you follow the stars. I will say there was a pretty good like supporting cast of characters too. They're all also very funny as well. Um, this is not really much of a spoiler because it was in like the trailers as well, but seeing like Zeus and everybody, that was actually really cool too. Although
Yeah, that
the
was really
outcome of
cool.
that one was very interesting, but it does lead up to like following movies as well. So look forward to that.
Oh, dude, that post credits thing had me hype. I was hyped.
I was like, this is not good.
Dude.
And I also learned my lesson. There is also like after credit scene as well. So there's two other like stuff happening post credits.
Always double credits.
Yeah, I liked
Dude,
the after
I was
credits.
hyped.
It was good. Eh,
Oh, I was hoping they'd introduce him in the credits somewhere or in the movie at least. I was like, he's one of the strongest characters in Marvel. Put him in. Put him in. Like, there's a certain version of him in the comics that is legit like in the top 10 most powerful beings in all of the Marvel universe.
it makes you well. It makes me wonder. You know, and granted, it's because of like how the characters are and like the conflict of like what goes through with like Thor and company is completely outside of like what they would want to do anyway. And I was really hoping that they would do something, but unfortunately not. It's just interesting that they were so bold as to like do all these different things, and there were like major consequences as a result of that. Similar to Guardians of the Galaxy, I think there was a whole thing like at the end of Volume Two for Guardians that like leaves well something that we're still waiting for, but still there's some consequences to
I
be
just
had.
I do still love his dynamic with the Guardians. It's so good.
It's interesting now because obviously when they first met them, a lot of them just kind of looked up and admired Thor, and by when you watch this movie, it's like he's already kind of well integrated into like this team. He even kind of has like the same funny dynamics as they do. Um, though it's a little
It
bit
was a great
weirder.
opening scene.
It was
Great
great,
opening scene, honestly.
and I'm glad. This is also not like a spoiler because it's also like implied in the trailers as well. The way that they all split off, I really thought it was gonna be one of those things where like they had a oh what's the word for it, a falling out. I thought they had a falling out and Thor just had to go his own way, but it was something different, so it worked.
No, like I knew for a fact, like in the trailer, I was like, this seems like a nice break off. This doesn't seem like they had a falling out.
Yeah, that's true. But it's interesting because I think a lot of the funniness like that like Thor has kind of like links over to like Guardians of the Galaxy because like once he splits off from them, he does still have his jokes, but it's, for the most part like it's at his own pace instead of just being like back to back funnies, I would say. Because the Guardians themselves are that's their shtick. That's their entire shtick.
Fun- They are a funny group.
hmm So it's cool that we got to still see them and that they're still part of this expanded universe. And when they drop more and more lore, you're gonna see this in like this movie. There's like more lore in the universe, and you gotta wonder like how could they fit so many things here? It's like near limitless how much stuff. And then you have Earth, which is the epicenter of all these different origin stories going on. You're like, bro, what?
Exactly. It's like, excuse me.
A planet would be lucky enough to just have one legend of sorts, and Earth has like a bajillion. Oh my god! And you know, I'll what I want to like mention because I mentioned like it's also on brand for us is tardiness. I was actually like a minute or so like kind of late to like the theater because I woke up like this morning and I had to do a couple of like self-care stuff before like go to the movies. I bought my tickets like that very morning, like with crusty eyes and all, and I was like, okay, I want to watch this. I know it's 2 hours long. Yep, it's 2 hours. I'm gonna time it out so that I can return back and just have this be something I could talk about in the podcast. And I was thankfully I was able to also watch Miss Marvel as well. So I just yeah, that's why that's why I was trying to link towards the fact that like despite that I had all these self-care things and then I arrived at the theaters kind of late. But I walked in when they were doing like the recap at the beginning, which I wasn't really expecting. I was kind of just expecting myself to walk in and I just would miss some context here and there, but for the most part,
The
as far
fact that
as
you were late to the movie.
yeah, I was
Who
late
is
to
late
the.
to that? Who has the audacity to be late to the movie?
It's me over here. It's happened a few times.
Dog, I would never allow myself to be late to the movie.
You'd be surprised.
I've never allowed myself to be late to a movie.
This might happen one of these days. Just remember that when you're late
I'm
to
just
the
saying,
movies.
like, if it happens one of these days, it happens one of these days. But I'm just saying, my record, like, I try not to.
Right, like no one wants to like willingly walk into it late. It's just things just kind of pop up for sure.
Like, what popped up exactly to make you late for the movie?
Well, well, I mean, like I woke up. I had to take care like some self care stuff that I need to take care of, and then
His hair.
not the hair actually. If you want to know, it's filing nails. Make sure these guys are trimmed. And
Oh,
I
you don't use nail clippers?
well, I'm sorry. When I mean filing nails, I also mean clipping them too. It's like no, like you clip them and then you just file them just to make sure that like there's no like any sharp points. And then and this was like so I was looking at showcasings. I literally wake up at like close to 9 o'clock and I look for showings and I was thinking about like the time between. So there weren't no like 10 exact showings. There was a 9:45 showing. So here I am with like 45 minutes to spare. I'm clipping nails. I'm also like critting the draft for like the podcast. It doesn't take too long, but that's still something I'm still setting up. Um, and then I'm prepping coffee, and then I was probably doing something else, but I remember like it was like, dude, it's like 9:30 something, or no, actually, you know what? Yeah, it was like 9:30 something, like 35 or 36. You gotta go.
You're like, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta
Right.
go.
And then so I arrived there. It was probably like 9:46. So the previews are showing at this point. So I'm like, okay, popcorn, let's go. And I think I showed up around like 10.
Are you one of those people that like has to get popcorn at every movie?
At this point, yeah.
You're saying I don't have to do that at every movie, but I do know people who have to.
It's just part of the experience for me. I love it. But
I understand. Like, it's good popcorn.
yeah, and I think I came into the theater like around like 10:06. So it was just a few minutes after the startup. So thankfully, it was a lot of the recap was still like within the movie was still happening. The only things I missed were probably just like the Marvel logo and everything.
So there was like a very unique sound for the intro though.
Was it a licensed song or was it just kind of?
it was a very much a rock oriented kind of like the theming of Love and Thunder is very rock like, and they did
Yeah.
that for the Marvel intro. It was actually really good.
Oh, that's really cool. So yeah, okay, then I did miss something. Not too bad, but that is a nice little like take. Also, I love how Love and Thunder just kind of came around. And like by the end, the movie is great.
Title drop at the end.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that. So essentially,
Like
Love and Thunder. I guess the TLDR version. It's great. I still
it's very
think.
good.
I think Ragnarok is still like relatively well rounded as like one of my favorite movies, like from Thor. But this one's like a very close second, I would say.
I
It's
was
not.
gonna say like I can't definitely say that it's better than Ragnarok, but I'll definitely say it definitely comes close.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of like how it's all set up in the plot going forward. I would say that. I mean, I would say Ragnarok is still pretty dark, but Love and Thunder was like its own version of dark, just because of like how the villain is. I would
Some of the
say
shots for the villain are terrifying looking.
it's really good. Christian Bale just pulling it off. I would say that then, like amongst all four Thor movies, it is Ragnarok first, Love and Thunder second, Thor the first one is third, and then Dark World is like at the end.
Windows Dark World is like the worst one.
Well, yes, yes. Al- although I feel like actually it's been a hot minute since I've seen like Dark World. It's funny because I was thinking about like that poster. It's weird. This is a completely side tangent, but I remember Thor Dark World was when I actually started watching movies like Solo. This is one that I actually needed to watch solo because it was mandatory for like one of my classes in college, where like we were supposed to watch how the movie was, and then also dissect like some some meanings behind like the poster for Dark World. It's the one that like Doors like has like one hand over Jane as they kind of look outward and you see all the different characters like spread off like just any other standard trailer. And I remember that like a little bit more vividly than the other things I remember for most movies because I remember Dennis, DJ's mom. We call her Mama Skoy. We I was talking to her about like this whole situation about like me watching Thor Dark World and why I was doing it. And I remember explaining like there's certain things that like visually that grab us when we look at this poster. And I know that she was arguing against it because it was such like generic stereotypical things that they kind of like plant within this like poster, such as the like one example, it's just like literally Thor covering like Jane, protecting her, right? And I know that she had some things to say about that. I don't remember exactly what they were, but that's why I remember that so much. Otherwise, Thor: Dark World, the movie itself, I don't remember much except for the mom dying.
And yeah, it's pretty much. I think it's pretty much what everybody remembers.
Yeah, although I guess it's just interesting the fact that Jane returns back after like since the last appearance was really like Dark World and maybe a cameo here and there from Endgame. But her as a character kind of like as far as the combat in this movie is interesting because you can't help but think that like she hasn't really spent much time as like Thor, you know? So for her
Yeah,
to like
I really like the way she used Mjolnir though.
is really cool. We can talk about that a little bit because Mjolnir was shattered in Ragnarok, and we kind of assumed that was it. But turns out that like Mjolnir was pretty well like preserved, and it makes sense because you can't really lift Mjolnir no matter how many parts it's in. So
Kind of just, and that's the thing. Even though it's in parts, it can still reassemble.
it's that's the super cool thing about it. You will get to see in the movie as to like what's going on with Mjolnir and like why it is. That's what I kind of like because the way they open it up and how they introduce like
Imagine like a shotgun.
yes, that's pretty much like
That's what
how
I
it
would.
functions.
That's what I would say. Imagine like if you mixed a hammer and a shotgun.
But yeah, for the most part, like that kind of stuff can be a little bit self-explanatory, but how she kind of comes across it and like how she's able to like work as Thor, you get a pretty well good explanation as to what it is, and it doesn't feel like regurgitating details. It's just something that's like it's part of like her character as well, and I actually really do like it. And they do talk about like obviously the relationship they had previously and how it ended, so I'm totally happy that they kind of explained it, because as accepting as I was to hear that like in Ragnarok they just kind of split off and that was it, we actually had
Not
a
to
little bit
mention the
more.
bombshell. Not to mention the bombshell of a drop.
Yes,
Talk about a way to say it. Good God.
I mean, if we're talking about the same thing, yeah,
Yeah,
it's it.
when she tells him
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like there's kind of no way to really like.
worst timing.
I mean, it's tough because like they both are acting on emotions that they're trying to move past and they can't really like cope with
Of
it
course,
like too well.
like I get why. Like I get why. I'm just saying like of all
It
the times to say it.
right, but I think plot wise it was important for her to say something, and honestly, they're both too awkward with each other to really be like so open expressing themselves to each other. But by the end of it, like you get it, or at least they understand each other, no matter like how they feel. So I don't know. I think I can't really say too much after the fact, but it's definitely something to just kind of behold, and I think that's why it's so important to have Love and Thunder in the title. It doesn't it's not just because of like the reasons that happened near the end of the movie, but it's also because that's actually part of the whole like premise of this movie. And I think it's great for that. I think if it weren't for that strong moral theming of it, I'd probably put that like, or actually, if I wasn't, sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. It's
Do
still
your best. You got it.
it still sits like second as my favorite, but if Ragnarok didn't exist, then that'd be like on top mainly because of like the themes and the morals like in that story. It would have sit on top. I think that Ragnarok just had like another level of funny to it, but it was also like very endearing because of like Loki in that movie. Honestly, that elevator scene in Ragnarok like was really good.
Absolutely. Like there's so many great scenes in Ragnarok, but there's also a ton of amazing scenes in Love and Thunder.
Hmm.
Like that's what I'm saying. You're gonna have no shortage of scenes you're gonna love in Love and Thunder because there's a lot going on and there's a lot to really enjoy.
I'll say this thing out of context. I love in the beginning of Love and Thunder, Thor does like this whole sweep kick towards something, and I was like, yo, that was actually the coolest thing I've ever seen. And you see that a lot
No,
in fighting games.
yeah, one of my favorite parts is who can say where the road goes? Like you know what I'm talking
I
about. The
think so,
two
yeah.
bikes.
Yeah. Also, out of context as well, where well, it was Valkyrie. She was saying like, "Are you ready? Yeah. You got? Are you packed? Yeah. Are you? Got this? Got this? What's that? Oh, it's this. Beep, beep.
Oh
Okay, there
yeah,
we go."
it's insert item here. No, it's up insert item here.
I love that. Valkyrie is so well like integrated into like society.
So
Also,
good.
yeah, they've changed up a lot of new Asgard too. I like that. It's not just like a fishing port anymore. It's like now a respectable like city, or sorry, maybe not city, a town.
Also, this movie might make you fear bunnies.
I'm sorry.
I said also warning. This movie might make you fear bunnies.
Oh, got you.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
That's it. That scene was. I like that scene. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. I was like, okay, that's a creative way to do the final battle. Okay, I like it.
Hmm.
I didn't even. I forgot that he could do that. Honestly.
Yeah, I love like how improvised that was, but it worked. And we're not even gonna question anything else. It's just something that's like, you know what? he does have like a greater level of like strength and like responsibility, and it's cool that he's able to grant that and like tap into it
Temporarily.
temporarily.
I love how he just ends it temporarily
Mm-hmm. For a limited time.
for a limited time.
That was the fastest asterisk ever typed, but in speech.
For a limited time.
It's good. So I guess that means he's able to do that for other folks as well, if need be. But he never really needed that because he always had the strength by himself to deal with things.
Oh yeah, he's a god.
Yeah. Oh, actually. Oh, yeah. You know what? You know, this kind of like, especially with Jane being involved, like as like another Thor. There's a little thing that they talk about like between each other about like the events of the first movie, and given the circumstances that like Jane is going through and Thor reflecting on that and giving her the response of like all things that she's done for him in the first movie, like that hit also differently too. I like that as well. He was encouraging her because it just like the stuff that happens like later on the plot just gets darker and darker. Well, I wouldn't say darker and darker, but it is pretty dark. But for them to comfort each other like that, showing like weakness there, it's good. I like that. Well, yeah, TLDR, it's a great movie. Great movie.
Fantastic movie.
Let's see, is there anything else I want to bring up? You know what? I actually did want to bring this up. This is not really related to gaming stuff per se. It was about our D&D session. So apparently we are not really having our D&D session tonight, just due to the circumstances. I totally get it. Sometimes family just kind of has like things planned out for you.
You're like, I'm doing this? Oh, I guess I'm doing this.
Yeah. But I remember that Christoph had reached out to me as far as like building out like my character, Chonk. I don't really talk too much about like the characters like there, but Chonk is literally a bona fide link just put into like a fantasy world where in which I can experience this D&D experience. And that's kind of like Chonk's archetype. I'm starting to understand that like Christoph does want to like have these characters a little bit more like engaged into the world. There's more of a reasoning that he wants for each character to exist. I'm not gonna lie, it was pushing me a little bit where I was like, I don't want to really like dig too far into like this character because like he has kind of like one sole focus, and that's just for me, as a conduit for me to experience like this whole like game campaign. But I get it, and so with some consideration, I started to like jot some like history down for the character, and I'm starting to kind of understand like his side of things now as far as just developing the character. So that's
how much it really adds.
It does make you more connected to like that world, because like for me, I would have been totally down just having a session of me just going through doing commands, leveling up, and that is just like my satisfaction in the game. It's just me just gaining levels, seeing the progress and growth that way. But to fully define those characters and give them origins that fit the story's like world, that is something else that I wasn't expecting to feel. And I think it's super cool to actually go that far into it. But at the same time, I think you're totally okay to have like more simplistic backgrounds for these characters, if that is allowed. So just
you're allowed to be simple.
Yeah, so just a little bit of experience that I'd like to share with everybody. That D&Ds can be kind of scary to jump into, but you know, once you're in a fair group, it's cool to just kind of take things at your own pace, for sure.
Absolutely.
But I think that's pretty much everything else. As far as things that I've been up to aside from that, streaming has been kind of the same as usual. I'm kind of juggling like a couple games here, including Monster Hunter Sunbreak, and it's super cool. I just saw like this morning a really cool, like, it was a TikTok video, but it was someone who was or no, it was actually Twitter, about someone who was going through this one of the follower quests the follower quest itself wasn't important. It was the fact that I just saw this person doing some actions with like the bow, and I was like, I have no idea like you were able to do that with this bow. I thought it was just a stationary thing. You were just standing there like open target, but you're just shooting these arrows like at snail's pace. No, you're shooting those. You're letting loose those things. I was like, whoa.
You never knew you could do that.
I never knew how agile you can be with a bow. And I was
like the bow you can be very mobile with.
And I was like, yo, well, I'm playing as Chonk in D&D, so I'm like, maybe I should try to invest in like the bow. Maybe that should be like the new thing, because I love the charge blade, but I would like to try something different too.
It never hurts to try the weapons. I know I have.
So
I prefer the great sword, but I have tried other weapons.
Yeah, it's just that I'm currently still like trying to build up like just like charge blade build, given all the mastering stuff, and I'm just about to see all the different tiers. I'm still waiting for like what the Nagakuga blade or charge blade is going to look like and what it does. So I'm curious about that. But I'll make it a side project to see like what I can do with like the great bow, excuse me. I was also watching Maximilian Dude's stream on like his build on Monster Hunter. I was like, yo, I didn't know he could do like the whole, the Vade extension, and I was like, oh cool, it isn't just like the weapon swapping that like it's the prolong evade, it's just also your dodges. I was like, what the?
Yeah, you can just dodge a lot further.
I'm gonna have to invest in that.
Yeah, we can do some of that after this if you want.
Yeah, actually let's plan that out. But yeah, no, that's got me like seeing other people play through the games got me kind of jazzed for like more Sunbreak stuff. So I'm totally down for it. That, and I've also it's funny, we were talking about this like on Messenger as well about Monster Hunter Rise and just Monster Hunter in general. Just like, why isn't there like collaborations with other companies so we can have like cool skins like the Buster Sword, which I mean modders are already like behind it. I saw that and I was like, that's super cool. I also forgot and was ignorant of the fact that Sonic actually had a crossover with Rise. Forgot your Palco becomes Sonic. It's so funny.
I mean, you can still do the event quest and get it.
I gotta do it at this point because I already got my Pal Mew. He's got like the Akita like layer armor, and so he just looks like a really big Akita. So I gotta do that.
He does look like a huge Akita.
They even have the fluff on too. I was like, whoa, this RE Engine's crazy. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Although I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of dread the whole like process of grinding out hunts just to get those materials, but that's what the multiplayer's for.
Yeah, so you can just do it even faster.
And do it even faster with other people who benefit. So I still haven't really found like the proper build that, well actually, I have seen a couple of builds like with what's available that would greatly benefit me. Oh, it's coming up.
Water time.
It's water time. There's a lot of attack boost ones. I was like, you know what? That's probably good.
Oh, yeah, attack boost just means more damage.
You're also pointing out the critical elements one, and I was like, yep, that's probably something I need to aim for as well.
Yeah, for a charge blade especially.
There's a bombardier one which also helps out too, so I think they might be in the same category. We'll see. Yeah, we'll definitely see about that. So
say for a charge blade especially, because that is a very big elemental weapon.
Yes. It was weird though. You explained it for me though, in the sense that like, and the game will tell you too that like charge blade uses elemental like these files that cause like elemental damage when infused with your stuff. So
yeah.
So by that extension, it fulfills the critical element requirement. So
yeah, and there's like I can send you a video to where like they break down some stuff like affinity is also kind of something important you kind of want to understand.
Yeah, I do need to kind of understand that too.
Because affinity, it does add a multiplication to your damage.
Yes, which I'm desperately needing because most of my like base damage, if I'm not hitting a weak spot, is like 15, 14, 17, and I'm like, this is not gonna do.
I don't know. It's like you want to. It's like, can I at least get 100 base?
Mm-hmm. Oh, just to give you an update on what happened last night, a Moldron actually kicked my ass.
Oh, did he?
I don't think I even got him to blue, but he got me with two of the same moves. It was like this interesting tail swipe. I'm pretty sure he had like the whole mud ball farmed, so I think that's what caused the Unga Boonga damage, like where he one
Yeah, because
shots
they're
me.
faster rank. They've got all kinds of new moves.
Yeah, but the last one, which was like, it was so sad because I got raided like maybe a couple minutes earlier, and a Molten got me like stuck in this stream of mud. So I was trying to like cross him, but I was still like walking in, and then he just dropped the tail on me, and it got me, and I was so sad by that.
If
I was like, man, forget this game. I'm ending the stream. No, but it was that time to end stream anyway. But yeah, dude, I forget how crazy that game is
oh yeah,
sometimes.
it could be a challenge.
Mm-hmm. But I will say from last night, seeing Grangolm was
Yeah, Garen Golem.
yes, dude. Yeah,
He's a really cool one.
I really like the elements here, water and fire, just being infused to steam as well. The fact that he had like headbutts you, and that's actually like one of the more like intimidating things he could do, aside from like rocket jumps.
Dude, the rocket jump was so cool.
I was like, what the what?
It's like this man just he used his fist to launch himself. Like, that's so cool.
I was like, this guy's nuts.
Like, he's just one of the three lords. There's still Luna Garin, and you've seen a little bit of Malzeno
Yeah,
for the demo.
yeah. From the demo, he's a menace, but I'm pretty sure he's not that big of a menace in like the actual game.
Oh, you're gonna change that tone real fast.
Am I? We'll see about that. I'll be the judge of that.
He's very fast.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he's still like just as fast, right? Well, question: is he faster in like than the demo?
He takes getting. It's like any other monster. You gotta learn, and it takes getting used to.
Okay, because I pretty much like have him. Well, I wouldn't say I have him down pat, but I can't understand from like the demo like what he's capable of. Obviously, he has the nothing personal kid like move. I get it. He also has kind of like those area effects like within starting from himself. So always be mindful of that. I also know that he has like a directional move that you got to just properly time, otherwise it'll get you each and every time.
He's got an insta kill move.
I think I know which one you're talking about. That might be. Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. That's a problem. And I already know the gimmick that like you have to fight him more aggressively because that's how like his that's how he is actually. That I'm
You want to fight more. You want to try and break as much as you can.
mm-hmm. Break them legs, break them,
Break,
break them, break them. But I think yeah, that's all I really want to say. That Rise is. I'm actually happy that Sunbreak is what it is now, because I honestly thought
it's actually sold 2 million copies in its first few days.
I mean, it deserves it.
Not even like Rise did that in its first like week or two, whereas Sunbreak, the expansion alone has sold 2 million in its first couple days.
Which is crazy because it's a game that requires the original game. There's definitely bulks for them, right? But it does make it more costly if you never played it before. So adding total sales for those who've already got Rise and those who are just buying the bundle just now, excuse me. That's crazy numbers. It deserves it though, because I think Sunbreak is a really cool expansion, and the fact that it builds more to the game, not just simply being able to like fight new monsters, but the fact that you get new things to craft, that you want to craft actually to continue going. And recently, because you told me about it, there are like things that go beyond like master rank, like say like 7 or 10, like it was in the day one of Rise, where it was just like there's like mainly like ranked 7, and then all of a sudden it just unlocked, and you have to like who knows how long you can go for like those ranks.
Well,
And
it's because there's also going to be some other stuff in between doing to unlock these ranks of master rank, which is
yeah,
the end game stuff that you aren't aware of just yet.
I so I mean I know that there's some like pretty crazy prerequisites to fight unique monsters, and that's all I know, and I think that's kind of crazy as it is.
Yeah, like right now I have to like I have a thing where I have to fight Ibushi,
Oh, not Ibushi again.
master rank Ibushi,
Mastering Ibushi. Fuck.
and he whooped my ass.
Ugh. This game.
He hurts.
Yeah, he brings over Spain without the S.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah. Alrighty. Was there anything else you want to add for the podcast before we go in and call? I think it's a good time.
Mashal getting its TV anime, solo leveling, and
Oh yeah.
getting its own anime.
That's true. There's some pretty I wouldn't say decent because they're actually pretty good anime out there. I'll actually pull up a listing here too of things I watched so far, including the Forbidden one,
Season 2.
including the Forbidden one. But oh yes, Bishoku Tensei is also getting like.
You mean the Forbidden one?
Oh, you'll see it. But let me drop you some wholesome ones right now. Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. First episode dropped recently.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
It's pretty wholesome.
I heard about that.
Episode 2 just released for this one, but it's called Licorice Recoil. First episode was really strong, so I need to watch second episode to see how it carries it. I think Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting is self-explanatory, but Licorice Recoil is pretty much about a society in Japan that like I won't say capitalizes, but focuses on stopping crime before it happens by sending an elite like group of agents that are all high school girls. So
it sounds like jail bait.
It does. But I think this is all handled by A1 as far as the animation. So it's like super clean. It also looks like sword art for that. That might be like the personal reason there, but it's actually like pretty good. It's like the first episode. Let's see. And here's the forbidden one, Mark. I'm gonna read the title. My stepmom's daughter is my ex.
See,
it's I'll tell you, first episode dropped. I decided to watch it because it was getting a lot of like advertisements for it. And you know what? The first episode's not bad up until the end. And like, why? I'm like everything's good, everything's solid, and then like the thing happens and you're like, oh god, let's talk this out.
Exactly what we thought it was gonna be, isn't
it I don't know how it's gonna carry on like that. I don't know if it's gonna be like a what's that show called? That like the second I almost had it. No, it's not like that. It's pretty dark. That's pretty dark. No, it was another anime like where season 2 specifically. I don't know. I think they decided to go with the anime only ending, but like season 2 of like insert anime decides to go with the sibling route, and I was like, good lord, no.
They chose the darkest path.
They chose the forbidden path. And so I don't know if they're gonna go this route in this show, because there's obviously a bunch of these different characters, and they're all kind of like, and it's not just like an all-female cast. There's also like male characters there too. So I have no idea how they're gonna go about this. So I guess unfortunately, I'm just have to wait and find out. Yeah. All right. I think that's everything.
Oh, Mason, and I told Sawyer, that's awesome. I'm answering questions.
Yeah, no, I got you. I was thinking like we should probably wrap up then. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and call it here. It's been a chill episode. It's been a chill week actually so far. Despite the fact that it really was like it was a Marvel week for sure. Yeah. All right. For now, we'll go ahead and call it here. I will tell you guys, we'll have another podcast next week, and most likely we'll have to skip on the 23rd as far as like episode. Well, this is 419, so we have 420 next week, but 421 will probably be postponed until like the following Saturday. So just letting y'all know. But for now, I think that's pretty much everything. So, all right, we're calling it here. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening to episode 419 of DangIT Prodcast. My name is Justin. And thanks for watching. #bar, everyone.